Your fingers stopped responding about 4 hours ago. Not numb, just gone. Like someone unplugged them from your nervous system. Your legs feel like they belong to someone else. And every single breath scrapes your lungs raw. There's a thermometer in your bug-out bag that would tell you it's 28 degrees out here, but you don't need it. Your body already knows it's dying. This isn't the kind of dying where you drift off peacefully. This is the kind where your cells are shutting down one system at a time, and your brain is so starved for glucose, it can't figure out why you're suddenly, inexplicably thinking about pancakes. But here's the thing about freezing to death in a grid-down scenario. It's not the first night that gets you. Most people make it through that one. They burn through adrenaline and their body's emergency fuel stores. No, it's the second night. Always night 2. That's when your metabolic fuel tank finally hits empty. Your own internal clock turns traitor, and your body temperature drops below the point where your heart even remembers how to beat properly. Over 1,500 Americans die from hypothermia every year, and most of them don't die in dramatic blizzards or from falling through ice. They die on the second night of just moderate cold exposure because nobody ever explained that your body runs on a very specific biological fuel, a fuel that runs out much, much faster than you think. So let's break down the biology of how this happens. It starts with your fuel tank, your glycogen. It burns out in about 20 hours. You see, shivering isn't just a dramatic reaction. It's a furnace. Your muscles are contracting up to 12 times per second, generating heat by burning through your metabolic reserves. But here's the problem. When you shiver, your body has a strong preference for carbohydrates. During intense shivering, carbs can account for 60% of your heat production. That's muscle glycogen and blood glucose, the two fuels your body stores the least of. You've got maybe 400 to 500 grams of glycogen in your entire body, total. Shivering hard in 28-degree weather will burn through all of that in roughly 20 hours, maybe even less if you're out there hauling firewood with numb, useless hands. And once the glycogen is gone, the shivering intensity drops. Your metabolic rate plummets. Your core temperature begins to fall faster than your body can possibly compensate. By the time night 2 arrives, you've been cold for a full 24 hours. Your glycogen stores are completely tapped. Your blood glucose is dropping. Your muscles try to switch over, try burning fat and protein, but it's just not enough. It's not fast enough. The furnace sputters. You get colder. And this is where your brain, starved of that essential glucose, starts making brilliant decisions. Decisions like removing your jacket when you're literally dying of cold. It's called paradoxical undressing, and it happens in 20 to 50% of all fatal hypothermia cases. Your hypothalamus, the part of your brain that's supposed to be your thermostat, malfunctions so badly you strip naked in freezing weather, convinced that you're overheating. But if metabolic exhaustion isn't enough to finish the job, your own biology will. Your circadian rhythm, the internal clock you've lived by your whole life, actively works against you. Your core temperature naturally follows this rhythm, dropping to its lowest point between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. On a normal night in a warm bed, that's about a 1 degree Celsius drop. But when you're already hypothermic, when your core temp is hovering at a dangerous 35 degrees Celsius, that natural scheduled dip is enough to push you into severe, life-threatening hypothermia. Your brain's timekeeper, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, is designed to crank up your metabolic rate during the day and let everything cool down at night for sleep. Except you're not in a bed. You're shivering in a half-built debris shelter with no fire. So right on schedule, your body hits its circadian low around 4 a.m. on night 2. Your depleted glycogen can't generate enough heat to fight it. Your core temperature drops below 32 degrees. Your heart rate slows to a crawl, maybe 40 beats per minute. Your breathing becomes shallow, irregular. You are losing. And then there's the third enemy, sleep deprivation. After more than 30 hours without sleep because you're too cold and too scared to close your eyes, your brain flips into survival mode. That sounds good until you realize that survival mode, while sleep deprived, means critically impaired judgment, slowed reactions, and a complete inability to make coherent decisions. After just 24 hours without sleep, your cognitive impairment is equal to a blood alcohol level of 0.10%. You are, for all practical purposes, legally drunk while freezing to death. By 36 hours, you might start to hallucinate. Sleep deprivation makes everything exponentially worse. It actually hastens the onset of shivering, tricking your body into trying to warm you up sooner, which burns through your precious glycogen reserves even faster. You are accelerating your own metabolic collapse. Studies show that after prolonged sleep deprivation in the cold, people's core temperatures drop faster, their shivering becomes less sustained, their bodies just give up earlier. It's a cascade. No sleep means faster glycogen depletion. Faster depletion means less effective shivering. Less shivering means a lower core temperature. A lower core temp leads to brain dysfunction, and brain dysfunction leads to fatal decisions, like wandering away from your shelter or taking off your clothes. By night 2, you are right in the middle of this deadly spiral. Let's put this all together. Here's the timeline. You're stranded, grid down. The temperature is hovering in the 20s and 30s with some wind. It's survivable with the right gear. It's fatal without it. Night 1, you're scared, but you're functional. You build some kind of shelter, you gather firewood, you try to conserve energy. You shiver through the night and you make it to dawn. But you've burned through half your glycogen. You didn't sleep, you probably didn't eat enough, your core temp dropped to 35 degrees, but bounced back with the sunrise. Day 2, you are exhausted. You're moving slower. You're making mistakes. You can't get a fire started because your hands don't work, and your brain is too foggy to think straight. As the sun sets, you begin to shiver harder, and then night 2 begins. Your circadian rhythm, like clockwork, starts to lower your core temperature, just like it would on a normal night in a warm bed. Except you're in a debris hut with gaps in the walls, wearing clothes that are damp from the sweat of your work during the day, with absolutely no glycogen left to burn. Your core temp drops to 33 degrees. Your shivering becomes erratic, then weak. Your brain starts shutting down non-essential functions. Your hands and feet have been cold for so long, you can't tell if you have frostbite or if your nerve endings just gave up entirely. Then, around 3 a.m., your heart forgets its regular rhythm, or your blood pressure drops so low your brain stops getting oxygen, or you simply slip into unconsciousness and never, ever wake up. That's night 2. That's the killer. It's a metabolic perfect storm. Your body can no longer generate enough heat to counteract the environmental cold and its own natural nighttime temperature dip. Your organs start failing, your heart becomes electrically unstable, your blood thickens, your brain function deteriorates. There is no rescue helicopter. There is no warming center at 2 in the morning. There's just you, a shelter that might keep some of the wind off, and the cold, hard reality that your fuel tank is hitting empty. But look at you. You made it through night 1, and now you understand. You understand that shivering burns through your carbohydrate stores. You know your own circadian rhythm will betray you around 3 a.m. You know that sleep deprivation compounds every single problem. And in a world without a grid, that knowledge is power. If you can keep those glycogen stores topped off, if you can sleep in shifts, if you can build a shelter that actually holds heat, then maybe, just maybe, you make it past night 2. Your core temperature stabilizes, your shivering becomes manageable. You survive to see the dawn on day 3. And if not, if your hands turn waxy and gray, if your core temp drops and never recovers, if you start thinking that taking off your jacket is a brilliant idea, well, you tried. And out here, trying is worth something. Now get warm. You've got another night to survive, and your body's running on fumes.